Alabama Congressman from District 5, Mo Brooks, on the phone with us, who was at the GOP baseball practice today. Congressman, what's happening?
Well, there was an active shooter. He had a rifle. At least 50 to 100 shots fired.
Oh, my Lord.
We were in the batting practice part of it, so we had one of our staffers, a Luther Strange staffer by the name of Will, was on the mound. I was on the on-deck side on the third base line, and suddenly there's this bank from third base behind the dugout, and I glance over there, and I notice the guy's got a rifle, and he's shooting at us.
Holy cow. So as it stands now, you're talking about the chopper that's landing there, evacuating the wounded. Have you any count on how many people were shot?
Well, Steve Scalise, who's the Republican congressman from Louisiana, he's the majority whip, so that puts him third in line behind the speaker. He was shot in the hip. He was at second base. We had two law enforcement officers, our security guard detail for Steve Scalise. They were both wounded, one in the leg. The other one is being treated over near an ambulance. I don't know how bad his injuries are. There was one of our congressional staffers who was shot in the leg, and we used my belt to try to control the bleeding.
For a tourniquet.
And then the shooter, it seemed like forever. I mean, many minutes. I don't know how many, but many. Finally, the shooter was shot behind home plate as he was circling around to the first base dugout, where there were a number of us congressmen and other folks, and our security detail was able to incapacitate him at that point.
So the shooter is dead?
Don't know if he was dead.
But incapacitated.
He was wounded. I don't know how many times he was wounded. But, well, okay. I was on the third base side, close to the shooter, not as close as some of the infielders. And what I did after I realized it was a man with a gun, a rifle shooting at us, I immediately ran behind to the first base side of home plate. We have a batting cage that has plastic to keep the foul balls from leaving the field.
Right.
And ducked behind it on my belly, and while about 10, 20, 30 shots, however many were being fired, were going from the rifle. It took a while for our security detail to start exchanging fire. I don't know how much time passed, but it seemed like forever. I was lying on the ground with two or three other congressmen on the first base side behind that plastic. Of course, that plastic's not very good cover if that guy circles around the concrete block third base dugout. So we waited for what we thought would be a break in the shooting, ran into the first base dugout, which was center block, where there were a lot of us at that point seeking protection on the bottom of the dugout. Fortunately, it's a dugout that dips down about 2 or 3 feet, so you had some protection. And that's where I noticed one of the congressional staffers had a bullet hole in his leg, and he was bleeding. So I had a belt, took off the belt, and we made a tourniquet to control the bleeding. While all this is going on, Steve Scalise, our whip, was lying on the ground near the second base position, crawling into right field, leaving a trail of blood.
Oh, my. Steve Scalise, known to so many of us here along the Gulf Coast, when he has been transported by the chopper? Has he been evacuated?
I think Steve Scalise was evacuated. We had a physician, Brad, from Cincinnati area, Winstrup, Dr. Winstrup. He's a physician. When the shooter went down, I ran out to where Steve Scalise was, as did Senator Flake. Of course, Dr. Winstrup came over, and we started applying whatever help we could to Steve, giving him some liquids. Fortunately, Dr. Winstrup knew what to do. He was cutting Steve's pants off try to get to the wound, and I was holding cloth over the wound to try to reduce the blood flow.
Man, by the way, if
the
you're
paramedics got here.
just joining us, we're talking to Alabama Congressman District 5 Mo Brooks, who was there at the GOP baseball practice for tomorrow's charity game when shots rang out. And we have a lot of questions here, Congressman.
Yeah, sir. First of all, we're so thankful that you are safe.
Yes.
And that you are sharing with us horrifying moments. You've talked to us about what has happened, but tell us right now, what do you see? What do our listeners need to know from a safety standpoint as to how you are and what the situation is from a security standpoint right now?
Well, security standpoint, I think we're fine. Law enforcement officers all over the place. We've got fire department, medics. Still, it looks like the treated individuals have been evacuated, either by vehicle. We had the one who was evacuated by helicopter. I could not see which one that was, but I would imagine whoever was the most seriously wounded was the one airlifted away. And then you've got probably about 30 congressmen milling about on the first base side outside of the field where the law enforcement have told us to huddle as they interview us and take our statements.
This baseball game is for charity, so all of you are out there to give back to our community. What would you say to the person who was behind that rifle? If they're still alive, what would you say to them? For what?
I'm not sure that I can say on the air.
Right. I don't think you could
what
either.
my thoughts are. But I don't have any kind things to say about him for him to be shooting innocent people who, I mean, this charity game raises $600,000 for charities in the Washington, D.C. area, people who are indigent and poor, and it might be for helping educate kids. There are a number of different charities involved, and we have, like I left my condo this morning at about 5:45, rode my bike 8-9 miles to get here across the Potomac past Reagan National. If you're familiar with the football movie, Remember the Titans, well, that's the baseball field that we practice on, that same high school team.
And you
so
said
a good ways away,
and you also
for
said
somebody to just pull out a gun and start shooting us.
There was, in addition to members of the House, you said there are Senate folks there as well?
We had Senator Rand Paul and Senator Jeff Flake are on the baseball team. Both of them and myself, we're all outfielders.
Wow.
What time was practice today, sir?
Practice starts about 6:15, so it's about a 45-minute bike ride for me, warm-up, 6:15, toss balls, take some outfield flies, and then have batting practice. And we finish normally around 7:30 so that we can get back to the Capitol around 8:15, 8:30, and get to work.
This is, once again, we're talking to Congressman Mo Brooks. There today at the GOP charity baseball practice when shots rang out. You're saying at least 50 shots you heard?
Oh, at least. It took a while for our security forces to engage. It seemed like forever. It probably wasn't as long as it seemed. And I was lying in the dugout about 5 feet from a gun that was discharging above my head as one of the security officers was using the first base dugout as protection as he fired back.
Wow. And you are, I don't want to say exactly where you are, but you and other congressmen have been assembled somewhere that is safe now. You have security around you?
Yeah, there are at least 20 or 30 law enforcement officers around in all directions. So right now everything is secure. As you can tell from my voice, though, the adrenaline is still flowing.
Yeah.
Well, we are. I mean, the key here is we're so happy to be talking to you. You are fine now. You are safe now. But what a harrowing tale from this morning. I know there's going to be a lot of questions coming over the next couple hours. We got a couple more, just one more here, and then we're going to let you go because I know you have a lot to deal with right now.
I'm sorry. I just want to reemphasize. You looked over and you saw the rifle.
Oh, yes. I was on the third base side of home plate, and the shooter was behind third base where the fence line is with his rifle, pretty close to the chain link fence. It's hard to tell if the rifle was poking through the fence, but it was close enough so that he was shooting through the holes in the fence and not hitting the fence itself. So he was at all times within about 2 or 3 feet the rifle end, was within 2 or 3 feet of the fence itself, and so I could see that. And it wasn't pointed in my direction, but you never know when he's going to shift his aim.
And rapid fire?
Pardon?
Rapid fire?
It was not a machine gun type of rifle, but it was like an automatic shotgun where it goes boom, 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 boom.
Semi-automatic. Okay. And you said you watched security detail take out this shooter. You don't know if they're dead or not, but they have been shot. They have been incapacitated.
The shooter has been taken down. I don't know his physical condition. Quite frankly, I don't have a lot of sympathy for him right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. May finish the job if it's not already done. Congressman Mo Brooks, thank you for this update. I am so thankful that you are safe, and we will talk to you.
Sure, and if you can help get the word out. Gary Palmer from Alabama was also on the field, and he is fine.
He's fine. So you're
the
fine.
Alabama congressmen are okay.
So Gary Palmer is fine. You're fine. Obviously, with not saying fine, but you were not shot. Gary Palmer was not shot, but you said you know for a fact that Steve Scalise was hit.
Yes, I was helping to tend to Steve Scalise's wounds. Of course, we had a physician who is helping us. Well, I should say I was helping him. He was the primary caregiver.
But kudos to you for taking your belt off and, I mean, just having enough. I don't know. I mean, focus to be able to.
I'm surprised. I've met with Congressman Brooks that he knew to do a tourniquet.
That he didn't panic, but he knew what to do.
Congressman, thank you. We will check back on you very soon. Please stay safe, stay very safe, and thank you for this update.
Certainly.
All right, Congressman Mo Brooks joining us right here on Mobile Mornings as a breaking news story out of Washington unfolds. We're going to keep you up to date. We'll be right back.